How's everybody doing this evening? In the last video, I showed you the parts that we got, in the mail. And we had to turn a blank for the reel seat. Well, this right here's how it turned out. It's not quite finished yet, but we'll be getting that to a video here shortly. If you watch one of my first videos, how to finish a knife handle, we're going to be doing the exact same process that we did on the knife handle. And today, we're going to be gluing up the grip. What I'm using is no carbon arrow I've got. And that's going to act as a mandrel to hold the cork in place. This right here is just a little piece of beeswax I use for my leather work. What we're going to do is we're going to rub this arrow shaft down with beeswax. What that'll do is that'll act as a release agent to keep the glue from setting on the arrow shaft. If that glue sets on this arrow shaft, well, you got a little bit of a problem. So we're just going to give it a good generous coating of it, and don't be shy with it. Now doing this here, you can also use something called Johnson's paste wax. This right here is just what I happen to have handy. Now we got these two pieces of wood here. What that is, that's going to act as a stop. And it's going to remove a little bit of the beeswax. So we'll just, go ahead and put another little bit on there just to kind of replace that. Then we'll take our first cork ring. We'll slide on there just like so, right up against that piece of wood. And of course, we're using good old Titebond 3 Ultimate Wood Glue. Now, I've already shaken this, but you want to make sure it's all good and mixed up. Get the pocket knife out here. Got a little bit of crud up there in the end of it. Scrape that off. Alright, looks good there. What we're going to do is we're going to give this here piece of cork a generous coating of it. Alright, we'll take our little cheap throwaway paintbrush and we'll smear that glue all the way around, because you want to make sure you get a really good bond on this. Make sure everything's nicely coated. Alright, then we're going to take the second piece here and slide down over top of it. It doesn't hurt to put glue on both pieces, but this right here, we got enough glue on that first one, that's going to be good. Sit there and give them a little bit of a twist. Pull them apart. Yeah, that other one's going to need a little bit of glue on it too. We're just going to put just a small amount on there. I'm going to take our paintbrush and smear that around real good. Wherever you're gluing cork, always make sure you have plenty of glue on it, so that cork will soak that glue up like a sponge. Now we're going to push that together, and we're going to repeat the process again a couple more times. Like I said, be generous with this glue, but don't put so much on there it's just dripping all over the place. The last thing you want to do is make a big mess with this. Alright, we're going to grab our next chunk of cork here. We're going to push that down on there. And we're going to twist it around. Slightly pull it back a little bit. And okay, we're going to need a little bit more. Take your old paintbrush again, just wipe it around. You could use a popsicle stick, or you can just use your finger to do this. It's pretty much up to however you want to do it. Well, this glue does clean up the water. Well, they say it does anyway. All right, we're going to coat the other piece of cork real good. And once again, make sure everything's evenly coated. Now we're going to push it together. Because when you see that ooze out right there, there's what you want to see around all your pieces. That lets you know you got a good amount of glue on there. So this glue right, once it dries and we go shape this cork grip on the lathe, it's just going to come off anyways, and it's not going to cause a problem because it's already dry. We'll go ahead and, just like before, give it a good, nice coating. looks good. I'm going to take this other piece, just like the last 3 pieces. I'll stick it on there and give it a good twist. Like so. Now we're going to back it up. Alright. We'll put a little more glue on here just to make sure everything's good. The reason I like using this glue here is it's waterproof when it's fully cured. Anytime you're going to be using anything that's going to be around water, like a fishing rod, you always want to make sure you use good quality glue. Some people use epoxy doing this. Me, I just prefer Type Bond 3. Alright, we're going to cover this real good here. Alright, we got a good coverage on both pieces. Now we're going to slide that down and give it a good twist. Kind of lost orientation here which way these blocks go. Yeah, that right there looks. There we go. I'll work right there. Well, maybe not. Yeah, that it?
Looks like s'mores.
Yeah, it kind of does look like s'mores, but I don't think I'd want to take a bite of that. I've ate some weird stuff in my time, but I'm sure not bad at start that. Now we're going to take our other piece of wood here. It's just a piece of scrap one I had laying around. You can use this wherever you got handy. We're going to take our clamp here. Stick. Now, hang on here a minute. Push this a little bit farther up the thing there. I'm going to get up there. This cork, whenever you try to push down on it, it gets kind of tight. What we're going to do is we're going to put another clamp on this other side over here. You just want to get an even amount of pressure on this. Alright, it's starting to snug up pretty good there. We're going to take our other bar clamp, we're going to turn it the opposite direction. Just like so. I'm probably going to be covering glue after that. No, maybe not. This right here is the hardest part. Trying to get everything just out just right.
You need to be an octopus with all those arms.
I don't know about that. Extra hand wouldn't be a bad thing right now doing this. And once you get everything clamped together, you want to make sure you get even pressure on both sides of this. Okay, this one over here works its way loose. So we're gonna clamp it down. You're gonna have to do this a couple times just to make sure everything's good and snug. This right here is one of them details you want to pay real close attention to. This side here is backed off a little bit. We'll give it a few twists. Probably won't hurt for me to cut the shaft down a little bit. I'm sure some of you guys that bow hunt or you shoot a bow for fun out in the backyard on Saturday afternoon with the guys, probably got a couple old carbon air shafts laying around. You could probably use aluminum, but old carbon air is just what I happen to have handy. Okay, that right there, we're going to let that set tomorrow night till tomorrow evening after we get off work. We're going to come back, slide it off, and shape it. Remember, guys, hit that like, comment, and subscribe button, and keep it fishy.